Okay, so welcome to part 3 on making this shirt. I'm not going to do a whole lot to it. Maybe I will just give it some ends in order to kind of like make it so that you have the thickness on it without actually using the solidify modifier. And I think maybe I'll put a little ruffle around the bottom of it uh, to make, I don't know, like a little ruffled top on it or something. So the first thing that we want to do is come in here, and also you can see this is exactly the same shirt. All I've done was I've applied a mirror modifier to it, so I deleted half of the geometry, and if I turn this off you can see I deleted half of it and then I added a modifier. Also, I made sure that when I added the modifier, the mirror, it came in underneath the subsurf one. I used this little arrow here to push it up the stack one spot because I wanted it mirrored before I did the subdivision on it. And here what I've also done is in the breast area, this was tucked against it very deeply, and so I've just pulled it out a little bit to make it a little more realistic. I've smoothed out the edges a little bit, and I've rounded out the opening for the arms and the neckline and the back opening as well. So let me go ahead and turn that back on. And now what I'm going to do is come in here into edit mode, so tab into edit, and I'm going to select my edge loop going around the arm. And unfortunately I have one little messy piece of geometry right there, and you can see that although it's not a big deal, it did interrupt me from being able to select this whole edge loop around the arm with just one click. I'm going to use a little trick that I like to use, or tip that I like to use, and that's just hitting E for extrude, and it doesn't matter which way it goes. I simply use it and then right mouse click. Now it looks like it's gone away, but it isn't. It's still there, so if I move my mouse, you can see it. But using your right mouse click after you hit E, it puts it right where it originated from. And so now what this does is this allows me to scale it in nice and even. Alright? And then I can tuck it in. And there we go. We can also take this underline area, and I can use Shift and E on it, which is crease. So I can tighten that area up a little bit, and that makes my edge loop just a little more, I can manipulate it a little bit better without affecting this lower edge so much. And also what I can do is untuck it from there a tiny bit, and I think that's pretty good. This one here I might want to manipulate a little, but then again you see you're affecting the because the subsurf is still on. So why don't we turn that off for a second, and that looks pretty good. And actually what I probably will do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the subsurf. So let me turn it on just to make sure it's what I want, and edit, tab into object mode, apply the subsurf. Don't worry about this up here. It says that the modifier I applied was not the first one. Usually when you have modifiers, you want to apply the first one because this is the first thing that was done. And we can even apply that now and then apply the subsurf. And if I find that I want to use the modeling again, the mirror modeling, I can always recreate that easily. So let me go ahead and fix this little spot that I kind of messed up. And that's not a bad deal right there. Okay, so now I have a nice edge there. And maybe that's a little thick, but it's good. Okay, I want to do the same for the neckline. The neckline is a nice, clear, clean, crisp all the way around. Do you see that? And that's because of the box modeling that we did. And again, E for extrude and right mouse click. I am going to go ahead and hit S to scale this down a little bit. And that's good. I'll move it down a tiny bit. And now if I hit E for extrude and right mouse click again, and this time scale upward, it's going underneath the shirt. And we do have to kind of manipulate that a little bit. And scale on the Y. And that is looking pretty good, except you can see down here, I do have these points that I should probably bring out a little bit. And maybe I'll use my proportional editing with it. There, that's better. Okay, and so now for putting a ruffle on the bottom. I've shown this before, and I just want to show it again. We'll do a nice little one, because we did a long ruffle the last time that I did this. So, let me go ahead and go into object edit mode here. And I am going to go into front view. And I'm going to click at the place where I want the ruffle to end. So maybe right here just below where the body bends. Alright, so there we go. And now what I'll do is I will go into top view. And where'd my little avatar go? There it is. Actually, let me go this way and let me deselect the very bottom center one. So there we go. And then back into top view again. Opening up my panel here, I'm going to go ahead and I will create a new grease pencil. It's all the way up here, so new. And I do want this on object. And click on the plus button, and I'm going to change the color. And then in my grease pencil settings over here, I'm going to change this to actually I'm going to keep this at cursor. I'm not going to change it this time. Go into my tools and have my B surfaces ready. And so now in top view, it's really hard to see what I want to do because I can barely see that ring. And actually, I guess I can see it just enough to make do. Yeah, I think that's just enough to make do. So I'm going to hold down my D key, and you can see my edge loop is selected right there, right? So now I'm just going to hold my D, and I should get my tablet out, but I'm just going to make a nice little ruffle going around. It gets a little bit bad on that side, huh? Drawing with a mouse is really not my specialty. And I'm almost done. And there we go. Alright, so there's the bottom of my ruffle. It's inside the body a little bit, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that right now. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to turn loops and strokes off. I do want automatic join on so that my ends back here will join. And I think that's about add surface. And I can go ahead and lower the number of follow that I have. And I do want them to keep them pretty uniform with what I've got going on there. Now that's not much of a ruffle if you ask me. It's not very detailed. But let's see what we have when we go into object mode. And let's smooth this out. Not very much of a ruffle at all. So let's move this back out of the body. And let's go ahead and deselect the center one again. Let's go back into top view and let's try adding a second one on here. And if I were more comfortable with my mouse, maybe it would be better. But holding D again, and let's see, maybe if I make some bigger ones. Didn't we used to scribble all the time when we were kids, and they always turned out so much fun. And now we struggle to scribble a nice little ruffle. Alright, so let's see if that does anything better for us. I should have moved my cursor down a little bit, but it's not a big deal. I can simply just take my edge loop and I can lower it, but not yet. Let me get rid of some of those extra follows first. Actually, I need to get rid of all of them in order to really pull this down the right way. I can add them in though, because it's a clean, my proportional editing is on. Okay, so that's not so bad. Let's go and I'm going to add edge loops, not that we need them, but for texturing I like to have the geometry kind of even going from top to bottom. So let's go into object mode and we'll smooth that out again. And that's a little closer. You can see though what's happened here is I have this area I do not like, and that's from the first ruffle. So let's fix that. I'm going to come in here and select this one and delete edge loops. And let's go back and see what we have in object. Alright, let's go ahead and go back and let's delete this one. Delete edge loops and see what we have. Alright, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. It looks like it's working its way into a little bit of a ruffle. Delete one more just because I can. No harm. Now I can add an edge loop that is going to match the new flat geometry. And I'm going to, no, I don't want to do that too much. That didn't work out all that well. I was going to use Alt-Shift-S on it, which tries to make it circular, but I think that's pretty good as it is right there. So let me just add 2 more edge loops just so that everything is nice and even again. Alright, there we go. So now we've got some thickness to the sides. We've got the bottom. We can also take the bottom, extrude it, scale it inward a tiny bit, hit extrude again and right mouse click. We're going to scale it inward and we're going to bring it upward. And from the front view I can adjust this much better. So down here and scale it up. Scale it on the Y and move it over. You always want to check, like I said, everything from all different sides to make sure that you're not poking through or anything on that. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I like that shirt the way it is. Okay, so that's just finishing that one off, and I will see about a part 4. Have fun with it.